Blessings, everyone. Today I have been outside and just feeling a very beautiful sense of peace. The angels have been around, and so I felt very drawn to do an Archangel Oracle reading from Diana Cooper. Her cards are absolutely beautiful, and she brings through many different angels, some that maybe we aren't so familiar with. So it's a wonderful energy. And also I have, this is a milky aura quartz, or some people call it angel aura, because it has a titanium sheen on the top of it. So it has a titanium coating that gives it like that beautiful aura glow. But the energy is very strong and peaceful. So I'd like to ask the angels, please, allow me to be a messenger of the highest good. Thank you for drawing near. I'm grateful. Okay, just want to give a quick shuffle. I have a table today, which I've not used the table sometimes, and when you're shuffling oracle cards, it's not that easy. Just gonna take one. Archangel Chamuel, open your heart to give and receive love. Your essence is love. And of course, there's no mistaking the beautiful colors in the sun. The angels always, when they're coming through, I've said this many times, the resonance is such a bright, beautiful ringing sound, and it just feels like it's coming from within and just spreading out. And when I see this, looking at this card, I notice this central sun above Chamuel's head, and it just reminds us that the light that we see in the central sun, our sun, is the same symbol of sun, that light that permeates from within us. It's always as above, so below. It's a correspondence. It's the warmth, the light, the clarity. It's the same symbol as what is in the other dimensions, in the higher realms. So I'd like to just read a little bit from the book. When you receive this card, your guidance is to reevaluate all your relationships with eyes of love. Open your heart to everyone, especially those who are challenging. When you can accept them as they are, your heart chakra radiates a glorious white-pink light. Your aura becomes warm and inviting, and people behave differently towards you. Look at a personal and world situation with a wise, compassionate heart. Do not enter into dramas in thought, word, or deed. Rather, ask Archangel Chamuel to help you raise the vibrations of lower situations with the power of your heart energy. You are being reminded that your heart is your most important spiritual center. Connect with Archangel Chamuel and attract loving and gracious situations in your life. So, I believe that this is a beautiful reminder that all of us, definitely in these times right now, need sometimes. I just actually had a lesson today. I'd like to share because this is relevant, that I've kind of had a little bit of a struggle recently, because I've had a lot of people around me that have now come into my awareness, and that feeling of wanting to be of service is always there. when you have the open heart, it's the pull that we all have. And so, but I've learned also to set some boundaries, because sometimes we can open that heart space, and we're using our compassion and we're looking at everyone with the loving eyes. But we also have to remember that there's a difference between loving and not judging, and being compassionate, and opening ourselves up to be vulnerable, but not opening up to be taking in the negativity. And so a lot of times it seems like it's a double-edged sword. And the angels are just keep saying filter, filter. And so I believe what Chamuel is trying to get the message across through me is that it's okay. We have to have self-love as well. That same compassionate, loving vulnerability that we give others, the non-judgment, the seeing everyone as our brothers and sisters, trying to recognize everyone as God, Spirit, Source recognizes them. Seeing them through the eyes of God, we also have to give ourselves that same love, that same open heart. And the angels are saying sometimes that's very difficult. It's actually easier to love others unconditional, and yet we don't give that to ourselves. That's a big, big challenge for us here, because we are our own worst critics. And though this message in the book is also encouraging us to love each other and give that compassion, the angels are bringing through a message today. As I said before, I had an experience where I had to realize that I'm loving everyone unconditional, but not myself. And sometimes that love that we have to give ourselves comes with some boundaries. And if something is feeling draining or overwhelming, it's okay to step away. It's okay to say no, because we have to be in that space. We have to feel our God source resonating from us so we could give that to others. If we're not in that space, we find sometimes it can be draining. And we know that when we're connected to Source, and we know when we're connected to the angels and our guides and our ancestors and our loved ones, that the flow of love is continuous then. And the more we give, the more charged we feel, the more beautiful we feel, the more bright and energetic we feel, as long as we are giving ourselves that self-love first. And it's not selfish, and it's not being of service. It is one of the greatest services we could be. It's because then we're truly seeing the God in us, and then we can see the God in others. And so I think this message is important today, because I do understand that a lot of light workers, or those being of service, caregivers, we have friends and family that we're trying to enlighten and awaken or give support to. And sometimes we just get a little lost because we haven't given that to ourselves. And so then it becomes feeling like we're worn out. And in order to have this open heart, yes, sometimes it's a risk. Sometimes we're going to have our hearts broken. But it's worth it. It's always worth it. Working on not having expectation, and loving unconditional, and loving ourselves in that way, will keep that endless supply of love and energy flowing. As long as we can feel that within, it will never drain us. It will always recharge us when we love, and when we're being of service, or when we're helping others to find their light and wake. As soon as we center in that for ourselves, And if it means setting boundaries again, or just taking some time out to just be quiet and still, then that flow will come naturally. It will come right from source and come through us and just pour through that heart space. So that's a message that I know I needed, and I hope that that can inspire others to feel that inside and know it's okay. Love ourselves as God loves us, and then we will have an endless supply to share with others. Thank you for allowing me to share this message with you today. Many blessings.